Welcome to Money Mondays. My name is Peggy Doviak, and I am a certified financial planner practitioner. And every Monday, I'm bringing you resources that you can use yourself to understand some of the financial tools that are available right now because of the COVID-19 outbreak, as well as providing resources and games and lessons you can use with your kids who are at home right now if you're trying to provide them with some some money skills. And so I want to start today talking to the parents. My screen's jumping. I'm hoping it's not actually doing that on the film itself. I want to talk to the parents first and talk about the fact that they just over the weekend, so now this is Monday, April 27th, and over the weekend, they passed a bill that extends over $300 billion additional dollars into PPP. That's the Paycheck Protection Program. So if you're a small business owner and you missed out on the last sum of money that you could use to help pay your employees' salaries for 2 months, that amount of money got extended over the weekend with an additional $300 billion, which sounds like a lot, except the last amount of money was supposed to be available until June, and it lasted about a week and a half. What I've been hearing this morning on the news is the expectation that this money is probably going to last about a week. So what you need to do is contact your bank, the bank that you have a relationship with already, and get their tools and their information and their applications and get that submitted today if you want to participate in the program. Because you don't have two or 3 weeks to think about this. That last sum of money went in about 10 days, and that's all you've got this time, I think, as well. Obviously the money's there until it runs out. I know that they're trying to keep some of the big companies who took a lot of cash to pay their employees with, but I'm not sure the rules. And quite frankly, if a company's had to lay everybody off, then they're probably still going to have access to it. So it's up to you as the small business owner to go ahead and get that application in now so that you can have that resource. What it does is it provides you with 2.5 times your average annual payroll from 2019. So you have to go in, you have to calculate how much you spent on payroll. And that's real true payroll, not like draws you paid yourself. There is the potential that there's some money available for self-employed people. I don't know very much about that. So you need to talk to your bank about it if you don't have W-2 salary. I go ahead and reach out anyway, but I think it's trickier to pull off. So make sure that you do that. Additionally, I know at least in Oklahoma, they've been expanding the unemployment benefits for people who are self-employed. And I know a lot of self-employed people have been going crazy because they weren't able to access the unemployment benefits. Now, how does unemployment benefits work when, in fact, Oklahoma is going back to work May 1st? That's going to be difficult. And if you are choosing to stay closed, and it's not a case that you're forced to be closed, that may put a wrinkle in getting your unemployment. However, the tranche of 2.5 months of payroll does not have anything to do with technically the business being closed. So if you need the money, if things are tight, that payroll protection program is probably a better program for you than necessarily unemployment. If you should be watching this from another state that is still sheltering in place, recommending that people stay home, then be aware that the self-employed unemployment is getting clearer in how it's being structured. So if you're somewhere back east, if you're out on the West Coast, places where the shelter-in-place rules don't look like they're going away anytime soon, then you need to be aware of that. Additionally, if you are in Oklahoma and if something happens here over the next 3 weeks and we end up closing again, if the cases begin to outbreak, then just be aware that you should go ahead and apply for that unemployment as soon as you can. Now, The next thing that I want to do is talk about a really fun website that I found. It's called mymoney.gov, and I'm going to put that in as a comment. And so I don't know if they're going to give you a link or anything, but mymoney.gov, yeah, there it is. This is a neat website for a couple of reasons. And again, my primary focus has been the kids, but I understand the parents have a lot of financial issues going on right now as well. MyMoney.gov starts as a website designed for adults, and it talks about financial resources and things that are available. And there's a whole section on coronavirus resources. It's called Your Money and Coronavirus Resources for Financial Relief. When you go to that homepage, you know how they can do like scrolling screens? It's one of 3 screens that scrolls on the homepage. So if you don't see it the minute you log in, just sit there and watch it for a minute, and has the big red germ that comes up on it. You'll be able to click on that link, and then it takes you to really great resources. Information on how to handle like the different sorts of applications, the different sorts of assistance that might be available to you. I'm clicking on it right now. Forgive me as I'm not making eye contact with the camera just for a minute. There's a big thing on the stimulus checks that everyone received and what to do, like if you weren't filing taxes. If you have a CPA, and I understand that's almost an oxymoron, so if you have a CPA, you're probably filing your taxes. But you might try to find a friend who's a CPA and give them a call. Double check whether or not they believe the checks are already in progress. I would recommend that you call the IRS, but honestly, I don't think you'll get through because all of this is so log jammed right now. I don't want you to start down a road where they're mailing you a check and then you provide other information and the whole thing screws up and you wind up not getting the check at all. I personally would rather see you get the check a little bit later and actually receive it and not screw things up if things are already in process. But there is good information on the stimulus. If you're a small business, there's a little bar at the top that you click on to learn more about that paycheck protection program that I was just talking about. This is all U.S. Department of Treasury information. So it's really good. This mymoney.gov mymoney.gov links to different sites. So it's not just a Treasury site. It's multiple sites all brought together to help the financial consumer. Now, if you go further down on that homepage, you'll see a little tag that says youth. You'll also see teachers and educators, but I just want you to click on the youth tab right now. And that takes you to really nice financial resources for young kids. It includes games. Then you've got information for parents and kids. It was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And the first one was information about Social Security. It's like, I don't generally think about kids and Social Security, and yet there are really important Social Security resources available for children. So when you click on that link, it takes you to a page completely designated to Social Security issues around kids. Then there's also the next link talks about looking at college or technical and trade school. Good information there. Finally, there's activities for high school students and really neat, like how to save money, how to manage money in the real world. So, if you're still looking for things to do, and I don't know about you, but some of the things that were fun at first are slightly less fun now a month into it than they were when I was first getting started. So maybe you're looking for some new information. This is here. It's really neat. I think you'll like it. It goes from very lighthearted to fairly serious stuff, and I think it'll be useful. On this page, there's a link to the Hip Pocket Change games. Now, if you remember, I think the very first Money Monday I talked about the US Mint and how much I love the site. If I loved the site before, I love it more now. So the usmint.gov website has updated their kids section, and it's much more friendly. It's got more resources in it. So I'm not going to spend a long time talking about it, but I do want you to know that if you go to usmint.gov, it's still under that Learn tab at the top. And then you go to kids, and it's called HIP Pocket Change Kids Site. Neat things they can do, resources, more games than they had before, more word searches than they had before. That looks like they've been trying to build this out, or maybe they just redesigned the site and it's much more user friendly now. In any case, if you're looking for something fun, not very serious to do with your kids, I think it would be a great place for you to go. So that is pretty much all I have for today. I know this is stressful. I know that we're a month into this, and even some of the things that are reopening, a lot of kids in Oklahoma, they're out of school for the year. So you still have that situation, and that may get more complicated as parents have to go back to work and kids are still at home. And it's really hard to get somebody to come into your house now, even if you want to do that. So having these resources, especially if they're fun, I think it might give your kids something to do. Remember that you can always go to my website, which is Ask Peggy, AskPegggy.com. There's a place on that homepage of the Ask Peggy page that you can send a question. So if you have a financial question, now I don't give stock tips or anything like that. That's not what this is. This is really more just financial education. If you've got a question and you'd like for me to answer it on Money Mondays, I'm happy to do that. You'll also find a link to my blog that hasn't been updated recently because I've been finishing my book, and links for the book and just things that you might find fun and interesting to look at if you're bored and looking for something else to read. In any case, stay safe. We're going to get through this. It's going to be all right. And I look forward to being with you. I'm going to keep doing this until at least the end of May, at least until school was going to be out, because I really think this next month may be harder with parents working and kids at home. So be safe, be careful, and I will talk to you soon. In the meantime, remember, prosperity is more than money. Prosperity is being safe. It is being with family. It's knowing you have friends. You're not alone. We're going to get through this together.